Good afternoon and welcome to my office, where I'm going to hold this micro lesson on parking garages and parking slopes. My name is Zaneta Dimitrovska, and I'm really glad that today I have an opportunity to teach you a little bit ahead on in this course, this subject on parking, on underground parking, because I know that in your other courses you are going to have the exercise of designing an office building, and I want to go ahead and help you with it because we are also going to have many interpolating questions that are going to arise in this course as in the other courses. So the way I'm going to conduct my lesson today is with help of my laptop here. So this would be my opening slide. I don't know if you can see it because I have no idea. Yes, I hope that you can see it. So this is my opening slide for the PowerPoint presentation. And what I wanted to say is, first of all, excuse me, but I really have a back pain, so I'm going to sit down and I'm going to continue my lesson from here. Excuse me for that. So everybody avoids working on underground parking garages. I mean, architects, because lots of us think that it's a really menial job and it's really boring. But I beg to differ on that. I think that, every task depends on how you look at it. Okay, if you consider something as a challenge, you will be surprised how much you can learn from it. Okay, so from this, actually from a design like this, whereas you feel as if you are somewhere scary, maybe you feel that you are part of, a horror movie, so from this, with proper design and a little bit creativity, we can go to this. Okay, see this space? It's beautiful, no? Don't you think? Yeah, I know. Okay, or you can go and design even that, which is almost an art form. I hope that you all agree with me, right? John? Yeah, you know that, right? Okay, so what are we going to learn today? First of all, I'm going to teach you what is the concept and basic requirements for parking and underground parking. Then I'm going to teach you what are the imperative ways of approaching the parking design. And then I'm going to teach you a trick. This is going to be really a trick. I don't really give it up that easily, but you're my student, so I would like you to know how to actually apply geometry so that you know how to obtain the necessary ramp slope without lots of calculation. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. Okay, first of all, I'm going to ask you something. Can anybody tell me why do we need parking? Oh, okay, everybody knows, all right? So, of course, yeah, we all drive, okay? The cars are becoming, like a part of our life where we cannot escape it. Everybody, I hope. I don't really hope, but I know that everybody drove here. And the first thing when you go somewhere is, what you see is the parking lot, right? And that is the last thing that you see when you leave a certain space. So, can anybody tell me why the city needs to provide parking spaces for not only for its residents but for visitors as well? John? Yes, of course. Yes, that's true. If the city doesn't provide parking for its visitors, then the city risks the revenue from the tourist industry, right? Yeah, that's a good thinking. And then, yes, Kathy, of course, we all need to park close to our houses or close to our working places, right? Nobody wants to leave their car somewhere and then, taking a cab to go to their office building, right? Okay, so now that we now that we concluded why do we need parking, now let's see how do we go to the effective functional design. Okay, so that PowerPoint presentation. I'm sorry, we are pretending that this is all going in the classroom, right? So what is the effective functional design? First of all, okay, I'm going to show it here so that you can see it. First of all, we need to have effective internal layout. What does that mean? Yes? Yes, of course. Internal functional layout means that we design for people, right? We design for people. We do not design for their cars. We design for people who will leave their cars there. So everybody needs to know that, okay? Never forget that we are primarily designing for people. Second, we need to know the parking space dimension and the number of spaces that we need, right? Who can tell me where can we find it? Because we talked about it last time, okay? Okay, Naveen? Yes, in the zoning bylaw. Excellent. And we are going to have a little exercise on it, of course. Then we need to address the structural base, right? If we don't have a proper structure, then our building is going to collapse. We all know that. So how are we doing the structural base? You know, we're always aiming to have 9 by 9 bays because we can do clusters of parking in between those bays, and that's how we can achieve, you know, the parking efficiency. Speaking of which, what is the parking efficiency? Does anybody know? Peter? Yes, you might consider that, but you know, the proper definition would be the number of vehicles divided by the building area, right? Because that's what building zoning bylaw tells us, that we need to provide parking spaces according to the how big is our actually GFA. What is GFA? Can anybody tell me? Thank you. Yes, gross floor area. Excellent. You guys remember everything. I'm very glad the way this is going. Then I have to mention, you know, speaking of parking, that you know, lots of the equipment which is helping the building to operate is going to be located in the parking lot. Actually, to have a functional design, we need to know the turning radii of the cars. We need to know the floor slopes, and we need to know the traffic and the pedestrian circulation, because you know, once that we park our car, we need to find a way how are we going to leave the garage safely. Okay, speaking of which, we need to provide exits and access to the parking garage. Okay, and that's how we're going to consult the OBC. And OBC is, Lily, the Ontario Building Code. Oh my God, we are going ahead. I love that. Okay, let's see what have we here. So now that we know the rules of how we're going to approach our design task for the parking lot, we have to know how many parking spots do we need, and how are we going to do that. Of course, we are going to Google it. Yes? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We are not going to Google it. We are going to address the zoning bylaw. So the zoning bylaw actually is a bylaw which is governing the municipality, given municipality, where your building is actually, right? So once we know, okay, let's see here, we have an example for Toronto bylaw. That's a table that you have to address so that you know how many parking spots you need. Okay, since you have office building, you're going to go here. Okay, it's a nightclub. No, we don't need a nightclub. We don't need a nursing home. We need an office. Okay, so it tells you here how many parking spots you need to provide for different policy areas. And what is a policy area? Here we go. Policy areas are given in the zoning bylaw. Can you see this? Okay, so you have 4 policy areas, one for downtown, one for midtown, one for the suburbs, and one which actually is dividing the city in half, which goes along Bloor. Okay, So we're going to see what is the GFA of our building, and we are going to divide that by the number which the zoning bylaw is giving us. Okay, so now we have the necessary number of the parking spots that we need to provide. That's excellent. Next, we have to think about the accessibility of the parking lots, and we also can find that information in the zoning bylaw. Okay? Yes, Bill? Yes, absolutely. Yes, those spaces need to be bigger, right? You are ahead of me. You already checked in the zoning bylaw what are the dimensions of it, right? Yes, you have to think about it. And you also need to think how we're going to position those parking spots, because they need to be the closest to the exits, okay, or to the elevators. We want to make the lives of those people, the handicapped people, easier. Okay, what is next here? So the bylaw requirements. So I have made here a little sketch for you so that you understand it better. What are the dimensions needed for one parking spot? And you can see that the Toronto bylaw is asking for 2.6 meters times 5.6 meters for one parking spot. Okay, and remember when we talked about the base, the structural base? Yes, Kevin? Yes, 9 by 9 meters. That is the most optimal way so that we can cluster all of the parking spots. Next thing that we need to do, we need to know what is the width of the driving aisle that is going to serve our parking spots. So the zoning bylaw is going to also provide that information. Okay, so it says here that parking spots which are arrayed at 70 to 90 degrees on the central line of the driving aisles and which provides two-way access needs to be 6 meters wide. Okay, but we also have different arrays, different arrangements of the parking spots. Sometimes, you know, like if the floor plate allows, we are going to have them on a different angle. For example, if we have a parking array at angles from 50 to 70 degrees, then we are going to have a drive aisle 5.5 meters wide, but it's going to be only one way. Okay, do you know why? Anybody? Yes, that's correct. Because you know you cannot access your spot from a different angle. This angle is pretty steep, you know, to do a turning radius on it. And another scenario where we have parking arrays from less than 50 degrees, and then you need to provide a driving aisle which is going to be at least 4 meters in the width. So now let's see what happens with the slope, right? That's the most interesting part here, and I'm going to teach you how to draw it. Okay, so we need to provide a slope so that we can access the garage from the ground to the parking level 1, and then if we have more levels, we need to continue that parking slope down, parking ramp down to all of the levels that we are serving, right? So the Ontario Building Code is allowing 12% on a ramp which is not covered, and 15% on a ramp which is covered. Who can tell me why is that? Okay, Peter again? Yes, snow, of course, right? So 12% because of the snow, right? Because if we have a bigger percentage, then we're going to have some unpleasant sliding solutions. It's not solutions, actually, it's accidents, okay? And unless, you know, the owner or the client has enough money to make a heated ramp. Okay, so that's for the ramps. So now I'm going to teach you how to draw that. Okay, so this is it. So now we're going to pretend that I am actually in front of a blackboard, and I'm going to draw this. Okay, So now that I draw it, I'm going to slowly finish my lesson, and I'm going to ask my students to all couple in two and try to find their address in the zoning bylaw and tell me what that bylaw is telling us about the parking spaces that we need to provide for your office building. Okay? So you're going to imagine that you have that office building on your home address. Okay? And let's see, is that possible to do? Okay? Now, once you've done that, okay, here's your handouts for everybody. I want you to write that down and give back the answers to me. Okay? Great. Okay, I'll see you after. Thank you.